This is very, very easy for me because I'd say about 4 years ago, somewhere in there. It was like 2011, so it was more than 4 years ago. 2011, somewhere in there. I had actually had lobster, and I had like a lobster tail and a half. And up to that point, I did not know I was allergic to lobster. I thought I was allergic to just shrimp because I'd had allergic reaction before. They were like, "You're allergic to shrimp. Just stay away from shrimp. Everything else is fine." That's what they told me. But that night, when I ate that, my throat began to swell up. I went for my EpiPen, which I did get an EpiPen from the doctors, but it was outdated, like severely, by like 6 months. So I decided not to use it because I was not sure how that would affect me being outdated and stuff like that. So I did not use it. My dad drove me to the hospital, and it was probably one of the scariest things I've ever had to deal with because just my throat slowly started to close up. My eyes started to close up. My face started to swell. And I just, all I can really remember is just I was in the passenger seat. We had a van at that point. And like I just remember, you ever seen the movies how when someone's gonna go unconscious, how the thing just kind of goes and it goes dark? That was kind of what it was like. It was like I could see things, I could see things. And then all of a sudden it was just kind of like everything started getting blurry and blurry and blurry, and then everything just kind of went dark for a little while. But I just remember it being so hard to breathe. I don't remember the rest of the ride there. The next thing I remember is we were actually walking in to the hospital room, like the room that like the doctor's room. Patient room, that's it. I was walking into the patient room and I was literally like doubled over. Just fighting and fighting to breathe, and it's really not a fun thing. Like people who suffer with asthma and COPD and things like that, like my hopes and prayers go out to you because like it sucks not being able to breathe, and like it's like everything started to close up, and like you're literally grasping for air. It's like being underwater, and that's probably the scariest thing I've ever had to deal with, and I've dealt with some pretty scary things, but that was definitely the scariest. The doctor, he hit me with, I just remember having pinches on all my arms. I took 2 shots in the left arm and 1 in the right. They got me on a breathing treatment. I was in the hospital for 3 days, and the doctor literally told me another 5 minutes and I would have been dead. So yeah, I consider myself lucky, but that was definitely the scariest thing that's ever happened to me. Okay, so this is going to be kind of interesting because I have kind of had one. This could have been a dream. I'm just going to throw that out there now, so don't start thinking I'm crazy and all that stuff. It could have been a dream. But I was laying in bed one night, and the way I had my bed, it was really weird because it would push away from the wall, and my pillow would fall behind it. And one night it did that. Like my pillow was like falling behind the bed, but I was really tired and I was just too lazy to get up. And I remember in my head thinking like I don't want to get up. I'm too tired, but I need to fix my pillow, and I fixed my bed so I don't lose my pillow in the middle of the night. And the very next second, bam, my bed hits the wall. Like it moved like that much. It moved against the wall. And a millisecond later, I was out of bed and down the stairs, and I slept on the living room floor that night. Okay, so it scared the living crap out of me. I still can't explain it to this day. Like I said, it could have been a dream, but I don't know. Yes, I have known someone that was convicted of a violent crime, and no, I'm not going to discuss it because there are other people that may somehow see this video that may be a part of that, and I'm not going to do that. But just, yes, I have. And I have a mixed answer for this one. Am I afraid of the dark? Yes and no. I love the dark when it's outside. I can go outside at night in the dark, be in the woods in the dark, and have no problem whatsoever. whatsoever. I love it, actually. I really enjoy it. But, like, just put me in a bedroom. Completely dark. And I won't say it scares me, because I sleep in the dark. But, like, my imagination goes wild. And I'm just like, what's over there in the corner? What's underneath my bed? What's in the closet if I had one? Don't you guys dare leave any comments saying I'm in there. It's not funny. But yeah, so that's why I say I'm definitely half and half, because like when I'm in a dark room alone, like my imagination goes wild, and I kind of see things that aren't there, and it's a little freaky. But like outside in the dark, I love. I don't know. Maybe I'm just weird like that. There is one, it's not really that scary, and I don't know it completely, so if there's anyone out there who's watching that does know it completely, don't leave nasty comments below saying how wrong I am. But we have, this story about stovepipe, and it was like, it's somewhere, I'm not gonna say where, because I don't want to give away where I live to any weirdos. Not that you guys are weirdos, I'm just saying there might be someone out there, but it was a long time ago, and somehow like he was carrying a stove or something, and like he tumbled down a hill or something, and like the stovepipe like stuck in him somewhere. I forget. I've heard multiple stories as well, and then I've heard that like if you go to there to where he fell and you say his name or stuff like that, it's the right time of the night, you'll actually like hear him and see him and stuff like that. I've never seen it. I've been there at night. I've said his name several times, but never seen or heard from him. Unless he's right behind me. This is really interesting. I like all urban legends, honestly, but there's one that stands out to me, and it was called the Russian sleep experiment. I do believe that's what it called. It's what it was called. And basically what it was is, I think it was the Russians, considering the title was Russian sleep experiment. The Russians took people, I think they were soldiers, 4 or 5 of them, and stuck them in this contraption, and wouldn't let them sleep. Like, they took sleep away from them, so they weren't allowed to sleep, and they would do different things to make sure they didn't sleep, you know, noises, lights on constantly, stuff like that, just to mess with their kind of like inner clock. And like the weirdest thing was at the end of that, I forget how long they were in there, but they went through all this different stuff, and at the end, one person out of the 5 like killed the other ones and like ate them and stuff. And like they have a picture of it coming out the door. I'll put it up somewhere here so you can see it. But like that one was really interesting to me, just because it's got like the kind of psychological feel, because I like psychology and stuff, of like, you know, taking these 5 people and putting them in this experimental world and seeing what happens, and like the idea that sleep, like the lack of sleep, can literally make you go crazy, is an interesting. I had more nightmares, because I enjoy nightmares. I don't enjoy the initial part, like when I first wake up. Ah! 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 There was one dream that I had that was pretty unique compared to any other that I had. It was a weird one. Like, I've always had dreams about like running through zombie-infested apocalypse school or stuff like that, but there was one where it was literally just me laying in bed in dark, and at the bottom of my bed there was this thing that like poked its head up, and it had like really weird, like very like spiky hair, think Dragon Ball Z kind of, all black, and like these 2 really big red eyes. And for some reason, like, I would never do this in real life. Like, if something was at the bottom of my bed, I would never like pull the blanket over my head. I would never do that, but for some reason in that dream I did. I pulled it over my head. And then for some odd reason, I put it back down, and when I put it back down, there was this thing like moved onto the top of my bed and was like sitting on my bed, and it's really hard to describe what this thing looked like. It was very weird. It was like think what are the smaller monkeys called? Very small monkey. Big huge head, Dragon Ball Z hair that kind of hung down, all black, and then these two big red eyes, and they were just staring at me like they were just like staring into my soul. And that was probably the scariest / weirdest dream I've ever had. I never understood what that meant, or like understood like why I would have had that, but that was definitely a weird one. Alright guys, so if you like this 7 question scariest thing tag, then let me know. I'm gonna be doing, that's a thing, I'm gonna be doing more tags like this, as well as some stuff with some other friends this week, or next week, whichever happens first. But guys, if you like this video, just let me know. Leave a comment below, tell me what you like, and I'll see you guys around.